Hi, I'm Robin Todd, and this is a very short film about the very long history of Mark's Supply. So my dad graduates from Queen's University with a degree in engineering, and his first job he gets is at EMCO as an outside sales rep. Now he loves the job, but he hates the fact that his boss makes him wear a fedora. In 1955, Mom and Dad got married, and immediately afterwards, EMCO sent him out to Edmonton to run the branch out there. So while Mom was busy having babies, Dad was busy fixing the Edmonton branch. So at some point, they offered Dad a job back at head office in London at EMCO, and Dad's like, no, hang on a minute, I'm not ready. I want to stay another year to see how profitable I can make this branch. So a year later, Dad's ready. But he calls the head office of EMCO in London, and they say, John, there's no openings for you here anymore. So Dad decides to come back to Ontario to buy a wholesale company. But when he gets there, no one wants to sell their business to him. Now this is back in the day when you had to have an agreement with a manufacturer to buy their product and resell it. If you didn't have a signed agreement with them, that was it. You couldn't get into the wholesale business. So suddenly, Dad had a brainwave. He remembered that a buddy of his, Jack Gilson, had left EMCO a few years earlier to buy a small wholesale company in Hamilton called Marks & Co. So Dad went to Jack and asked him if he could buy the name Marks & Co. And Jack agreed to sell him the name for $1. Dad was thrilled, until he got the bill from the lawyer who set up the deal, and it was for $1,000. He almost passed out. This is back in 1962, and the only forms of communication are face-to-face, telephone, and snail mail. So Dad gets a bunch of purchase order forms, and he fills them out, Marks & Co., and he sends them off to the manufacturers, and lo and behold, the product starts arriving. They think that Marks & Co. Kitchener is the same company as Marks & Co. Hamilton, just a new location. Dad had rented a big shed on Stewart Street in Kitchener and also a pickup truck. In the mornings, his partner would go out and make deliveries and ask for orders while Dad manned the counter. And then at lunchtime, they'd switch. Dad would be out driving the truck and asking for orders, and the partner would be manning the counter. By the time the industry figured out that Marks Hamilton and Marks Kitchener were two completely separate companies, it was too late. Marks Kitchener was up and running, and they were in business for good. Now, when my dad's boss from EMCO found out, he called Dad and said, John, we like you, but we're going to put you out of business. That was decades ago, and here we are, still in business and still growing. So fast forward to 1981. To the surprise of everyone who knew me, I graduated from high school. And then I announced to my parents that I was not going on to university. Well, they freaked out, and I moved out. By March of 1982, I'm back in Waterloo on their doorstep, broke and unemployed. So my dad says to me, fine, you're going to work for me for 1 year, and then you're going to university. The company has about 24 employees and 2 locations, Kitchener and Guelph. And I start in accounts payable. There's only 2 of us in the accounting office and 1 computer for the whole company. Now, my dad's embarrassed that he's hired his daughter at Mark Supply, so he insists that I call him Mr. Todd at work. You know, like, Mr. Todd, line 1. I mean, everyone knows who I am, so they think it's kind of weird. Over the next 13 years, I basically do any job that's available at Mark Supply. And in fact, I think the only jobs I haven't done are outside sales and truck driver. So I work my ass off, and I'm loving every minute of it. And my dad never insists I go to university. By 1995, the company grown to about 40 employees. We had 4 locations now, and the sales are about $8 million. And Dad comes to me and tells me that I'm going to buy the company from him. And I am like blown away. I never imagined that I would buy this business, and I was terrified. And I always say I was so scared I didn't say what I was thinking at the time, which is, I don't know how to run a company. Now at the time, there were 6 managers at Mark Supply, all male, all older than I was, and all had spent the last 13 years showing me the ropes. Dad calls a manager's meeting and he announces to them that he sold me the company, I am the president, and I am now their boss. The news was not well received. I immediately made one of the managers the general manager and had all other managers report into him, which prevented a mass exodus of the leadership of the company and allowed me time to figure out how to be a president. Since then, I made a ton of blunders, but I figure I've made more right decisions than wrong because the company's still here, we're still growing, and we're financially strong. And I've really had the good fortune of working with so many great people over the years. In fact, I think it's, kind of like what I figured out in high school. If you find the smart people, the capable people, the people that get the job done, and you hang out with them, you go far in life.